Hi, players, what's good? It's your boy here, and we are back. Coming in hot at the end of the year almost. So 2025's only got a couple of days left to go, and I thought, why not go ahead and do the annual unit award list for Fire Emblem Heroes here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the different categories of heroes. Free-to-play, which is going to include Grand Hero Battle and Tempest Trials. We're going to take a look at regular 5 stars released that are not any other sort of type of hero. Of course, the special/seasonal 5-star. Then legendaries, mythics, emblems. We're going to count duos and harmonics as one category. And then rearms and attunes as one category as well. We really haven't gotten any ascended heroes this year. And attuned heroes, or not attuned, actually this is supposed to say aided hero. I guess the wiki actually has a little mistake there. But, yeah, aided heroes, we haven't really gotten any of those this year either, have we? Hold on, let me just quickly... Let's categorize by aided heroes, because I don't think we got any this year. Actually, I guess we did. We got Yunaka this year. But that was... I mean, she's the only one that came out this year, so it wouldn't even make any sense to do an award for that. There's no competition. All right, so with all of that out of the way, let's... quit goofing around, and why don't we start things off with the free-to-play hero. So that's going to include the Grand Hero Battle and the Tempest Trial options. We're going to sort here by release date, and then we're just going to take a look at everything that came out in 2025. Okay, so we start all the way over here at New Year Innies, and we go all the way down here to the Christmas Zelkov that came out. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at these free-to-play units and see if any of these were noteworthy releases for the year. All right, so Gris was pretty cool, but I don't think he's going to make it onto here. Baby Xander was interesting. The Legacy Zane was interesting. Fafnir. I mean, if this guy gets any award, it's the award of trolling because they released him on the Fallen banner, and it wasn't even Fallen Fafnir. It's just regular Fafnir. So he would get the wrong award there. All right, Bruno was awesome to finally get, I will admit. Bruno being a free-to-play release after so many years, and it actually using his base artwork, that was so fire. Oh, but I think the winner is pretty obvious, though. Okay, so no offense to any of these other guys, but is there really any competition for Grommel? He's just, like, by far the defining release for free-to-play this year. By far. Dude has a range style. His weapon is crazy. He can do insane amounts of damage. He has insane support damage for allies based on damage taken. He can melt foes in arena. He's kind of like the arena unit savior for free-to-play arena cores. So, yeah, he's basically the Marnie of this year, but he's actually better than Marnie. All right, so there we go. That's our free-to-play winner for the award. Now, let's go ahead and move on. Why don't we do Legendary next? Let's spice things up a little. We'll save the regular 5-star and the seasonal 5-star for later. Let's go ahead and skip right on over to Legendary Heroes, who's getting the award for this. Okay, so we start the year off with Legendary Ira, pretty fire release. Then we have Legendary Sakura, Legendary Burger King, and then Legendary Diamant. Okay, this is a 2-man race right here. And it's going to be a pretty stiff one, too. Who do you actually think is better between Legendary Sakura and Burger King? That's a tough one, honestly. I don't even know who I would vote for here. I might lean slightly more towards Burger King, mainly because I feel like he's just effective everywhere, whereas Sakura is... She's going to be really good in arena and also summoner duels. But as far as, like, Aether Raids goes, she can definitely be very good for Aether Raids offense, but I feel like the way offense has trended lately, where it's more so about just getting extra actions as opposed to getting long cantos, I feel like Sakura isn't as crazy as she was for Aether Raids offense as she was when she came out. And then Burger King is just, like, the support he's given with Reflex and the fact that he can be... still one of the more competent save units, even despite all this time passing. More so relegated to far save at this point now, because a lot of the crazy nuking units now seem to be more melee-oriented. So you would just run him as a far save, and he can still kind of get it in. So, yeah. I feel like Burger King has to take this one, although that is nothing taken away from Sakura, right? She is very good. We all know that. So I'm giving it to Burger King. Let me know if you guys disagree in the comments. Probably if you disagree, you're more leaning in towards Summoner Duels than Aether Raids. I'm more so in on Aether Raids than Summoner Duels. So that's where my biases tend to lie. All right, so we have our award for the Legendary Hero. Let's go ahead and move on to the Mythic Hero now. All right, who do we got for our Mythic Heroes this year? So we start things off with Athos. Very strong release. Very long-awaited character for me particularly. All right, then we had the Mythic Elm, who was a pretty interesting unit. I still think he's good. He can still get some brownie points for his undefended mid-turn. But the way Aether Raids has been geared towards this year, with a unit we're going to take a look at in a moment, I feel like this guy, he's really not that crazy. He's helpful for sure, but he's not, super crazy or anything. All right, then we have Balder and Hodor, who just give the middle finger to the safety fence pretty much. They're basically a catapult on the go that snipes safety fences. And surprisingly, I ended up liking Balder more than Hodor. I thought I was going to like Hodor more because she does have the penalty cleansing effect. She doesn't have it to the degree that King Freyr has it, where he just neutralizes everything. But I thought, we would have finally been able to swap out King Freyr for Hodor. And then not only is she penalty cleansing, but then she's also busting safety fences. So I thought she was going to be a little better than she ended up being. She's still good, obviously, just to break the fence. But Balder is not only just a fence breaker, but then as a unit, she's actually really good too. And if you're not playing Aether Raids, you're free to give her, what is it, air superiority? And she's just a god at DPS. She has a really good combat potential, and then now you can give her Arc Rival as well. She came with Celestial Form, which was okay, but Arc Rival is just straight up better. So yeah, this unit is actually really good, outside of Aether Raids specifically, and even in Aether Raids she can be very good. So I lean a little bit more towards Balder over Hodor. Alright, then we have this, this unit here, this monstrosity. So Frankenstein Lyn. Yeah, she gives the style support, which is really good. Can't really argue with giving range style to any melee unit. But her being an offensive mythic hero, I feel like is actually detrimental to her. She would have been so much better if she was a blessable unit and you could run her anywhere. But her being offense restricted, I feel like doesn't really do her too many favors. So yeah, that is one downside I have with her. I would like to be able to use her anywhere I wanted, as opposed to just Aether Raids offense. Okay, then we have Heimdallr, who I think is a very controversial unit to a lot of people. She seems to be like the second coming of Duo Leon, where she has caused a lot of players to quit. Whereas Duo Leon made a lot of people quit Summoner Duels, I feel like Heimdallr made a lot of people quit Aether Raids. And it's kind of not that hard to see why. She can be very, very restrictive to what your opponents can do when you have her in tandem with the Corrin Ring and things like that, just obstructing the hell out of the enemies. And then once they somehow find a way to make it through the blockade of ice tiles and obstacles and whatever else you've got in the way, then they just attack you and they lose their action. So yeah, it's not hard to see why a lot of people really hate this unit. I've heard she's even more of a bum in Summoner Duels, where dealing with her there is just a complete nightmare. But specifically for Aether Raids defense, I think, yeah, she's pretty good. You got to respect it. Anytime you see her on a defense team, even if there are a lot of ways to play around her, and me in particular, I haven't really had that much issue with her end turn ability. It's more so the stall that annoys me the most, is because I'm always running units that have +1 movement somehow. So the stall is what really gets me. But her end turn ability, you got to respect it, right? Whatever strategy you're coming up with for the player phase, you have to incorporate the fact that Heimdallr is there in order to get some kind of success out of it. So yeah, she is certainly a very meta-defining unit, and probably my pick overall for this award. We got Alphador and Valley. Valley is whatever. Like, she can be nice on defense teams, but nowhere near one of the better defensive mythic heroes that we've had released. Alphador is a really good offensive hero, but he's actually really good elsewhere too, just for his ability to super buff any one unit that you go ahead and use a positioning skill on. So I think Alphador is really nice, but yeah, there is a very polarizing unit here that we got to go for, so it's Heimdallr. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some more awards. So the next one we're going to do is Emblem Hero. Okay, let's take a look at the Emblem Heroes released this year. So we start things off with Erica. Pretty good start. Then we get the Emblem Micaiah, we get Emblem Corrin, and more recently, Emblem Edelgard, who just came out. A lot of these units were pretty good on release, and Erica in particular, her ring is still really good and still the go-to ring for melee units that want to do DPS. Edelgard's ring is the opposite, but just for like melee units that want extra actions. Micaiah's ring is pretty good. I think Micaiah herself as a unit is a little underrated too. Her being able to just be a better version of Dragon Ymir, I think, is awesome. Penalty cleansing is one of the most valuable things to have. And then on top of that, she can actually hit really hard. People undersell just how hard this Micaiah can hit in one shot. And I think that's certainly something that flies under the radar. But yeah, she does hit pretty hard. And then there's Corrin, who... her ring has got to be the most meta-defining ring of all time. It's like not even close. All of these rings are pretty solid, right? All the ones that came out this year. But it's like, they're not Corrin ring. So I have to give it to Corrin ring. It's the most roll-compressed ring in the world. First of all, you get terrain support. Then you get the ice tiles. And then you get the vein tiles. So essentially, you're getting Canto Control and Warp Bubble and ice tiles all out of one ring, while hindering Duo Camilla's range. Or not Duo Camilla, Baby Camilla's range. So it's just like the most important ring in the game. There's no arguing against it. So I'm giving Corrin the award for that. All right, let's take a look at duo heroes here. We're going to count duos and harmonics as one category because they might as well be. And we start things off with the New Year Haithrun at the start of the year. And then we're going to end things off with the... well, we're going to end with Ivy because the New Year Baldur hasn't released yet, and also she's going to be for next year. So we can't really count her into this. So let's take a look here. Let's see what we got released this year. So New Year Haithrun, she was okay. Marissa had her moment to shine up until the Erica ring came out. Rhea surprisingly aged really well, and she's still one of the better armor save units you can go for. So she certainly has a chance to get this award here. All right, then we have the Spring Plumeria, very good dancer, still probably the best dancer overall. There we got the Duo Marth, very, very good unit, and finds his way on just about any team just due to how versatile he is with his offense, his defense, and his support. Not Summer Celica. T. Ingrid, maybe. I mean, she does have good support. I wish she was doing a little bit more than just that, though. And we got the... what was her thing again? Gladiator Fur. She's also pretty solid. I like using her, but I don't think she would get this award here. Okay, then we have the Halloween Freya, very good unit. I mean, she's probably like a top 5 overall unit, right? Yeah, we have the Duo Alincia. I feel like this unit could have been better. Ninja Gulveig is just like a better version of Summer Gulveig. And then Ike. Ike is very interesting, actually. I don't know if I would give him this award, but I do think this is actually a really interesting unit. Lyn is pretty good, too. I've had a lot of fun running Lyn on my offense teams. Thank God this banner had Sparking without the Fey Pass. Because otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to get Lyn. I summoned on the banner, I sniped green, and I was able to pull Ike and also Vanitas, and then I just sparked Lyn at the end. So... yeah, Lyn is actually pretty fun. And then Ivy, who... it's a little early to say because she only just came out, but she doesn't really seem like she's any better than Baby Camilla, if she even is. So, man, who are we giving this award to? I'm leaning towards Rhea, Marth, and Freya. I think they have the biggest claim to the award here. Because they've been the most, like, meta-defining out of all these. I might give it to Marth, because he's been around longer and he does find his way on more variety of teams. But, like, Freya, that's not taking anything away from Freya. She's really strong, too. Damn, I might actually give it to Freya. I think I might, yeah. Wow, that's really tough. That's really tough. These two are really good. I think I'm going to give it to Freya, actually. The one thing about Freya that I wish is that her duo button turned off all the penalties or all the bonuses on the enemies, as opposed to only 2. Like, that's really the one thing I wish they would have just gave her, like, duo Thor's button instead. And then she would have straight up just been the best unit in the game. Man, but yeah, I feel like I just barely have to give it to Freya. That is close. Wow. Okay, let me know which one of these you guys would pick. Between Rhea, Marth, and Freya, or if someone else here you think deserved to get the award, let me know. All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the fodder bank category now. So we have the attuned heroes as well as the rearmed heroes. So what are we looking at over here? All right, we start the year off with Brigid. And then we end the year off with the Lysithea. So let's see here. Anything worthwhile? Attuned Alm was pretty solid on release because he negates defensive specials. He was pretty good against Hardy Fighter, or not Hardy Fighter, Shield Fighter, like far save units that had Aegis. He didn't last too long, though, unfortunately. Tharj is pretty good. Even still, Tharj is pretty solid. Hinoka, of course. Her fodder, I think, outshines her as a unit, though. She's not bad as a unit, but, like, air superiority is now the gold standard B skill for these flying units. All right, then we got Ryoma. He's okay. Sorin is pretty solid. Vanitas is actually really good. I think I might give the award to Vanitas. I was surprised how solid this unit ended up being. I wasn't directly going for her. I was just trying to get Ike and possibly Lyn. But I ended up getting her while I was summoning on the banner, and she really surprised me, honestly. Like, because her ability to turn off 5 bonuses only kicks in after a round of combat. So, like, I didn't really think that was going to come into play, and it doesn't really. More so, it's just that she sets up the stone tiles, and she's just a better version of Hector at this point, because, like, the main reason you would use Hector is to turn off the, like, haze tiles from Camilla right at the start, and Vanitas is able to do that. And then she also has Warp Bubble, and her weapon's really good. Her ace skill is actually really good. So she's just a pretty role-compressed armored unit, and it's between her and Hinoka. I think I want to give it to Vanitas more, though. Because, like, Hinoka, it's more so just, like, air superiority is what sets her apart. Vanitas has solid fodder, too. It's not like she doesn't really have fodder. She has Ice Wall, and then she has a Scowling Fighter, and then she has the Magic Save, all of which are pretty good. And then her weapon is now the best Dragon inheritable weapon. So, as a unit and as a fodder bank, I think we got to go with Vanitas for that one. All right, we are coming close to the end here. All right, we'll go ahead and take a look at the seasonal 5 stars, and then we'll finish off with the regular 5 stars. So, seasonal 5 stars, let's take a look at what we've got here. I think it should be pretty obvious to everybody who the winner of this is going to be. But just for the sake of being thorough, we'll take a look at all of these guys here. All right, we're starting the year off, again, with Duo Hathroon, but Duos and Harmonics are not going to get the award. We'll just take a look at regular 5 stars. All right, so, of course, the New Year banner, the Desert banner, the Valentine banner, which aged really surprisingly good. Edelgard and Rhea, I think, aged really well. It's just that now we have a better version of this Edelgard with the Emblem one. But up until that, I was still getting a lot of mileage out of this Edelgard. She really hung in there. All right, Spring banner, and then the Baby banner. And there's no arguing who wins this award, right? Like, this is not up for debate. But like I said, we will at least look at everybody else, though. Yeah, summer banners. Surprisingly, the summer banners didn't really introduce anything crazy this year. Like, usually they do, but this year, not so much. The T banner was pretty good. Ingrid and Veronica both pretty good. The Gladiator banner was really good. Chrom is... I mean, Chrom might be in second place right behind Camilla, I think. He's really good. And then we had this Halloween Peonies, great dancer. Kind of like a side grade to the other good dancer, the Plumeria. And then this Hareed, too. This is a really good Hareed. The Ninja Hareed with his way of setting up ice tiles. This is one of the more annoying units you can find on a team that has, like, Heimdallr on it, and then they're blocking you out with ice tiles. Then they have the Corrin Ring, putting ice in front of them. It's just a mindless amount of blockade that you got to get through in order to reach the opponents. So, yeah, this Hareed's actually really good. Despite being a demote, surprisingly. Yeah, Ninja Yunaka's pretty good. And then, of course, we have the Christmas banner. The New Year's stuff isn't going to count, but... yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, nothing's topping this unit. She's still probably the best unit in the game, I want to say. Which is crazy. We've never had that happen, have we? Where a unit came out at the start of the year almost. Well, not the start, but the first quarter of the year. And she's still, like, to the end of the year, she's still the #1 unit. I don't think that's ever happened before. No one's ever had the long-lasting staying power of Baby Camilla. Even now, like, units are still trying to play catch-up with what she does, too. It's crazy. Like, they made this unit so overtuned that I feel like even they realize they probably goofed up, because nothing has had the same amount of reach or firepower as her since she came out. All right, and then finally, let's go ahead and give out our last award of the day. So that's going to be for the regular 5-star units. Let's go ahead and sort by release. Wait, hold on. Did I do something wrong? Why is it only showing... Wait a second here. I feel like I might have did something wrong here. Yeah, so we sort by regular 5 stars, right? And that should be it. We just sort by release date after that. Oh, you know why they cut off? It's because all those other units from before, they got demoted, so they're not 5 stars anymore. So, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was wondering why the list was so short. All right, so regular 5 stars, we start things off with the Edane over here. And then we end things off with the Lorens and Ignats, the random Golden Deer banner that just came out of nowhere. So let's see here. Normally, like, random 5-star units ain't really that crazy. We did get one, though. We got both of the Allirs, the Fallen Allirs. They held up pretty well. Their support is really good. This Allir in particular, she was pretty meta for a while. There we got Meliai, and then we have the Brave banner. Yeah, these guys are definitely laying claim to that award, too. So, who do we think gets it here? Allir had a pretty long run, and then we just started getting more armored units, and now she's not really one of the top choices anymore, but she's still a pretty solid choice. All right, Brave Balder, still a pretty good DPS overall. Although, there are some tank units that can just straight up eat anything she's got going for her. Then we have the Brave Byleth, really well-aging unit. His reach is what kept him alive for so long. It's just, this guy with +1 movement and then 3 range is so strong, especially for Aether Raid's defenses. Brave Ectordeer, I feel like he's fallen off a little bit. He's not really tanking some of the crazy threats that have came out recently, but he can still be nice as a roll compression unit to give save to somebody else and then have double saves in modes that don't normally allow you to. And then Sharena, who has aged really well, more so because we're in a meta where you just want to have a million actions, and her action economy is one of the best in the game. So I'm thinking it's probably between Sharena and Brave Byleth. I think we got to give it to Brave Byleth, actually. Yeah, oh, that's close, man. They're both really useful to have. I just feel like Byleth is more useful in more different situations. Like, he's good in just about every mode you can run him in. Whereas Sharena has still just been pigeonholed into Aether Raid's offense for the most part. Maybe SD, but probably not SD. It depends on how things go. But yeah, I think we got to give this one to Brave Byleth here. So yeah, there we go. That wraps up the FEH Awards for 2025. These are the winners that we've got. So Grommel for the free-to-play unit. We have Black Knight for the legendary unit. We got Heimdallr for the mythic unit. We have Emblem Corrin for the Emblem Corrin for the Emblem ring. I was going to say the Corrin ring. That's how defining her ring is. It's like the only ring. All right, then we have Halloween Freya for the duo and harmonic unit. We've got Vanitas for the fodder bank unit. We got Baby Camilla for the seasonal 5-star, and then the Brave Male Byleth for the regular 5-star. So let me know what you guys think about these awards in the comments section down below, if you agree or disagree with any of these. And thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys had a good 2025. Looking forward to seeing you all in 2026. So take care. And this is your boy Tacho signing out. I will catch y'all again on the flip side.